Welcome everyone to another edition of Living Simply and Fun. I'm your host, um, Rita. Welcome everyone. Got a big announcement or two or three to do, or four or five or whatever. And I was just telling someone I'm going live. So, anywho, I should have been live 2 minutes ago, but I got addicted to this cartoon commercial type thing. It was a commercial, not a cartoon, where it shows Batman's car and the Ghostbusters and Knight Rider. The cars I grew up with, I was disappointed Airwolf wasn't in it, the A-Team van, but I had most of my childhood remembers. And it was talking about Walmart pickup. And, I don't mind Walmart pickup, but I prefer Walmart to deliver. Yeah, right here at home. So, anywho, um, usually in the blue chair, you would see Chloe sitting there, but Chloe's not sitting there right now because Chloe is in the other room, I believe, grumping. So, anywho, first of all, I want to share with you Christmas gifts I got. I got Ys 8. I got Trials of Cold Steel for Vita. Hyper Neptunia Rebirth 2. Trials of Cold Steel 1 and Golden Persona 4. Thank you, Angela. Anywho, that was just that. And then I got some Game Boy Advance games, a whole bunch of them, like 8 of them. We got some games up here, some PlayStation games. We got Drakengard 3. Knight of Azura, Dragon Quest 11, Diablo Eternal Collection. Chloe wants to try that. That game's badass and Switch. Knights of Azura 2 and Drakengard. So, these are some of the games that we got for Christmas, And then some of the other games we got is around here. Like Dragon Quest 6, Etrian Odyssey, Untold the Millennial Girl. I got Etrian Odyssey 5, which Chloe got me for Christmas. And then there's is this a birthday game? Yeah, Xeno Chronicles 2 Torna. Good expansion, got that. I got Sonic Mania Plus for the Switch. These are Switch games, by the way. Let me just show you the Switch games. So, I want to review these on this channel, by the way. Once I get the tools for it, I will review them. I got Sonic Forces. I got Captain Toad. I got Dragon Quest Builders. Looking forward to playing that. Gabby, if you're watching this, really want to get into this. Knights of Azura 2. RBI Baseball 17. 18's on the way. Wolfenstein 2. Xeno Chronicles 2. Mario Party. Super Mario Party. All Switch games. Shining Residence Reframe. Looks badass. Kirby Star Allies. Then I got Darkest Dungeon for my sister Teddy. Badass game. I got this one I've already opened and played. This is my birthday present. Octopath Traveler from Chloe. That game's pretty badass too. Another birthday present that Chloe got me for the PS4 and the Switch was Harvest Moonlight. I hope that game's badass too, by the way. I love Harvest Moon games. She got me that. Christmas last year, she got me Skyrim for Switch. That's badass just to play and use the archery. Sister Teddy got me Mercenary Saga. That's going to be really good. Tactical RPGs. I love those. Another one I got was Super Mario Odyssey. Cool game. Cool game. Disgaea 5, thanks to Chloe. She got me this. Then Fallen Legion, another one Chloe got me. Then other people sent me this Street Fighter, 12 Street Fighters in one. It's got Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter 2. I don't know if Turbo's in this though. And then there's Super Street Fighter, and then Super Street Fighter Turbo, and then Super Street Fighter, and then Street Fighter 2. The new generation. No, that's 3. Anyways, there's several Street Fighters. One I believe is Street Fighter 2. Hyper Fighting, and then you got the new challengers. They have the new challengers by itself. They want like $30 for it. Then Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild, Doom. Got it. That game's cool, you know. Love to get in that. We got Doom for the PS4 as well. Diablo 3, which I'm telling you is a badass game. Golf Story, good game. RPG with golf elements. Mega Man Legacy and Legacy 2 collection, thanks to Chloe. This wasn't bad. It's got 10 Mega Man games. I love Mega Man. Minecraft Story Mode, a Telltale game series, The Complete Adventure. Apparently, Gabby told me this game is not the actual regular thing, so I got to get the actual one. No problem. Civilization 6, thanks to a family member. This is going to be an awesome game. I wanted to play a Civilization game. I Am Setsuna, thanks to Chloe. She actually knew I wanted. That's an import version. It's English. Ys 8 portable version. Again, awesome. Disgaea 1. Now we just need 2, 3, and 4. I got those on PS4. Mega Man 11, PS4 and PS1 got those. Thank you, Chloe, for Mega Man, the Blue Bomber. Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. This is going to be awesome. Super Mario Kart Deluxe 8, or Mario Kart Deluxe 8. Crash Bandicoot. That's going to be awesome. We have it on PS4. Chloe's stoked about a portable version. And this one, the Sega Genesis Collection. Now, the Sega Genesis collections, I've wanted to play on a portable because I can take it with me everywhere. Pretty much, it is a game that's really cool. And I already told you I got the games I got for PS or DS for my birthday was the Etrian Odyssey 1 game remade. I got Dragon Quest 6. And then she got me, what was the other one? She got some, everyone else got some. Luminous Arc 2, gotta get the first one. The Dragon Quest 9, awesome game. She got that one. I'm a Dragon Quest fan. Then Harvest Moon, The Lost Valley. As you know, like I said, I'm a Harvest Moon fan, so there you go. So there's like, what, 5? So there was like 8 of them, you know, and I just thought it was really, really cool, you know. And, you know, I mean, I was just stoked, you know, really, really stoked to have them. And here's Etrian 5. So, you know, me and Chloe has plenty of games. She actually helped choose them. We're going through this list here to choose what games we want. We still got some to go through video game reviews. That's what we're working on. Now, I got to throw the DS on the Switch on the charger, the charging dock. But yeah, anyways, let's just talk for a minute. Yeah, this game's gonna be really fun in that Torna. But anyways, so far I haven't opened them. I'm just basically working one game at a time. The Diablo games are awesome. Oh, another thing that it came for my birthday was the original Game Boy Golf. I love golf. There's just something about it. NES Golf. And then Super Metroid. I mean, yeah, what can you go wrong with games, you know? So I'm going to check my messages because there's a flashing light. If some of you see it, the light's flashing. And that says there's a message. And we got a message from, you know. So I was asking my cousin-in-law, Tara Beehole, one of my moderators, to check out this channel. And she says can't. She's watching porn. Mm-hmm. All right. I got my dip can here in case I need some more dip. So I told Jess that I would do a quick video, you know, talk about Christmas. I'll tell you what's going on too. So this month, we went ahead and so beginning of the month, end of the month, Chloe was really panicked about our mail being stolen, so we had everything stopped and it's going to the post office. And so one of her birthday or Christmas presents is coming in, which is a hoodie dress she bought for herself for Christmas from her grandparents. You know, she bought presents and she bought herself stuff and makeup and other things. And so, you know, anyways, so what happened was one of the things going on is I want to talk a bit about a couple things, you know, that yeah, you know, between Chloe and family and everything else, you know, Christmas was great. You know, I tried to keep Chloe on a budget, you know, trying to tell her, hey, hoard some money and stuff, and it didn't happen. So, you know, Chloe's mom's watching this. Here's the story. So, the young lady basically didn't hoard any money and thought, oh, Christmas is great. We know it's one time a year. And so, what happened was the day after Christmas, we went and checked our mail from the post office and found a bill for over $400 for the electric bill. Now we were short $20 on the auto pay, and we paid all of it except 20. We went in there and said, "Oh, take it off the card now. We'll come back it later." You know, Chloe was going to pay the 20 from her birthday, Christmas money, but nope. So what happened was we ended up losing auto pay, and there was a $200 deposit. My family was like, "Well, that sucks." So I went ahead and paid the $200. So I paid the $200, and so yeah, that was good. And then you know, on top of that, I went shopping. You know, I didn't get off island yet. I was gonna go to Safeway. I don't think it's gonna be feasible. But we went off island, not off island, and we went to the meat shop. And I bought 15 pounds of smoked pork chops. So there's some dinners for me and Chloe. On top of that, a couple days later, I emailed or texted the guy about the the brats, right? The the habanero mango brats. He didn't have them in. He makes them himself, and he's like, I don't have them in yet, but we have smoked brisket. Went down there, picked up 3 pounds of brisket. And last night, well, we got home and we made French dips out of it. It was the best French dips ever. Now I got a few hoagie rolls left, so I might try to grab a few little lunch meat slices to use them up, assuming Chloe doesn't lose the hoagie rolls. So, but yeah, so we got pork chops for dinner. Sometimes we got tacos for 2 nights. We got a whole bunch of smoked pork chops left. We got like 4 or 5 packages of that left. I put them in 4s. I mean, literally, and I got the gravy for it, so you know. But yeah, today's special was whole smoked chickens, and I was like, yeah, you know, he gives mashed potatoes, gravy, corn, mac and cheese, etc. It's like $25 for a full meal for a family, and I just.
You want to tell them what I make with the taco meat?
So Chloe's making tacos, plain and simple. Badass tacos. There you go, badass tacos. Chloe's badass tacos. She uses chorizo. Now back then, all of you know, I think you heard it from Aaron in his cooking videos and stuff, or Living Simply and Fun here, that I don't touch chorizo. I'm like, no, I'm not eating pig lymph nodes. Well, when I talked to the cook, the butcher, they don't use pig lymph nodes in the chorizo that they make. It's a seasoned, and they don't, and this seasoned is not seasoned like pig intestines or cow intestines. They're actually using ground pork and seasoning it with chorizo seasoning, then buying, you know. So, anywho, so that was really cool, you know. So, anyways, couple stories for you. And I don't mean to belittle Chloe in any way, shape, or form. So, what happened was the day after Christmas, I made a big turkey dinner, and I went ahead and I made soup. And anyways, I went to make soup, and I got all put together, and etc. And I had to go off island to take care of Chloe's banking issue with her grandmother and grandfather gave her a check for Christmas. So we had to go all the way to Mount Vernon. We're like, nope, can't do it, can't do it. When every bank place, no, can't do it. So finally we got into Anacortes and we tried one last place, a U.S. Bank. And they're like, oh yeah, it's connected to the account. We charge you $7. Here you go. So anyways, what happened was, then, you know, we got home. And that was a big mess, you know. Chloe paid like $13 for a ticket. I mean 14, just so she can go, you know, and Chloe felt bad because what happened is you know, she had money put aside and she was upset and she's a sweetheart to a point. And we were sitting there and you know, we got to Safeway and I had to use the bathroom and then I looked for Chloe and then I found her sitting in the Starbucks area eating something and I said, hey, you know, we don't have time, you know, but you know, you could have went to McDonald's next door and grabbed a burger. And I was like, we don't, I assumed we didn't have time. I didn't check the schedule. So I was like, shit, we better get back to the the ferry terminal. So we get there, found out with 2 hour, 5 minute. Well, Chloe's like, and I was like, low sugar going, you know, yeah, like my Native American for anger is polar bear. So I'm Chief Angry Polar Bear. I also have the Canadian lynx, the bobcat, the mountain lion, the eagle, the raven, or the eagle, the hawk, and the falcon. You know, I have like birds. You know, I haven't got the deer too, and I also have a heron. And my totem pole is pretty good. The animals represent my personality. So my anger and my food level was low. So we got on the ferry and Chloe says, here's some money, love. Go and get yourself something to eat. So I go in and I get a couple of hot dogs and soda. And I sat down and I said, oh, I'd like to get a fountain drink, the big one. You know, I'm going to get a big amount of Pepsi. I'm sorry, ma'am. The fountain machine's broken, Rita. You can get a soda. And I'm like, for this price, I should be paying. I know. I'm so sorry. I'm like, so while I'm on the cruise trip, the lady came out and said, here's another soda because I feel bad. I mean, at Christmas time, I gave her plenty of tips. So I was like, she's like, here, this one's for me, a late Christmas present. I know you're upset that you can't get a refill. I'm like, we got off the ferry, you know, and went home. But, you know, that was one of the adventures we had, you know, but it was a tiring adventure. You know, you got to, you know, do my womanly things at home and I got to do all this. And, you know, so one of the things I want to talk about was, you know, that, and then we stayed in until payday, and then on payday, Tuesday night, or you know, the night I got paid, money went into my card. I checked the balance, and I ordered the phone. I added the phone right away to my cell phone, so you know, and I went to bed, and then I got up and you know, in the morning, I went down to the post office, got the mail, and went in and got the money order. And then I went and paid the electric bill. Now, I saw the manager, said, here. And she says, oh, is there a deposit with it? And I go, Chloe gets some money. Chloe promises. And she said, what happened? I said, here. Oh, my Lord. Over $400 for your electric bill. Yep. She's like, are you going to keep the place heated? And I go, nope. We're going to be wearing flannel and fleece and everything else to stay warm, and a double, triple layer pants. We're gonna freeze otherwise.
It's my idea to keep the place cold.
Yeah. Anyways, the manager was like, "Wow, if the pipes freeze." I said, "Is it in the lease?" Ow. So I contacted the Human Rights Commission and said, "If it's in the lease, you guys got to pay the electric bill. If it's in the lease that you want the electric up to a certain temperature, it ain't gonna happen. You guys got to pay the bill." So the manager backed away with it. She's been trying to attack us. Well, recently, like today, I went over to the Ace Hardware, and I'll get to that. The toilet's been acting up. I feel like the manager went to when we were out, put something in the toilet, because I got to plunge and do this. And, I talked to a friend of mine who's a plumber. He said, just dump plenty of hot water. Boil hot water, dump it in it. Boil hot water. It's not an equivalent to using your baseboard heat, but just use it. So I boiled stuff and then boiled stuff and thought it broke down. Nope. He said, then, it's got to be from the toilet, inside the toilet to the little thingy like this. He said, go get yourself an auger. So I went to Ace, and they're like, oh, man, we don't have any. But if it's a slow leak, I'd recommend throwing in a gallon of Drano gel. If that doesn't work, use the auger. And I'm like, well, I'm going to try the auger first. But he didn't have any in. So I was like, shit. He's like, well, if you want this type of auger, we can buy it and sell it to you. Just attach it to a drill it. But since you don't have a drill, you're going to have to buy a drill. And I'm like, you're just trying to sell me something I don't need. I said, if it was my cousin, I'd be like, oh, cuz, I need the drill. All right. Toilet's clean. Yeah. But anyways, Chloe went out to get a smoke. So let me explain what's happened. If Chloe's mom's watching, there's no offense to her. I don't mean any ill will towards her. I know where she gets her temper now, Chloe's mom. I was on the phone with her the other day trying to explain something to her. I went to a psychiatrist with Chloe, and we were trying to figure out the diagnoses for me. And as you all probably well aware by now, I had this book with me. So I told the lady my diagnosis. She says, nope, clearly if you are those, which we have your records for, ma'am, you are not schizophrenic. Your father-in-law is completely right. You're not schizophrenic. Even if you hear voices, you're not schizo. Those voices are induced by booze and probably smoking or tobacco. I said, what about bipolar? Nope, that's part of that disability there. And I said, well, what about borderline? Nope, not. You're autistic, and you got Asperger's. I can clearly see that. And you have a fetal alcohol spectrum disorder. You don't have those. I said, well, she said, and secondly, I don't want to give you any meds because it can speed up heart disease and kill you like it killed Aaron. Now, here's the funny thing about this whole ordeal. While talking about Poppy, Aaron's dad, the lady says, oh, I think I want to put you on Zoloft. Go home, reserve it. So I talked to the doctor. I said, no Zoloft. Oh, well, it's going to help you. I said, what do I have at home that I use? Well, you just use omeprazole. And that's Prilosec. I said, anything else? She looked it up and she goes, oh, you have coronary artery disease. You have nitro. I can't give you Zoloft like they recommended. I can't give you anything. Any of the meds that are antipsychotics, you can't mix it because you have heart disease. It'll kill you. It'll speed it up. She said that's what killed, you said it yourself. That's probably what killed Aaron. And so technically, we all know on this channel what killed Aaron, not getting the treatment. But you guys get the idea. So they wanted to put me on an antidepressant. And then she said it was for general anxiety and a couple other things, but not for depression. Oh. So she went through the list and contacted a psychiatrist and said, nope, not going to work. None of these are going to work. All right. So anyways, so talking to her about Chloe, she says, well, I don't really, and she heard about this whole APS thing. And she's like, do we need to get Chloe involved? Well, Chloe's one of those that gets very angry. Okay. And I'm not going to talk bad about Chloe. All I want to say is the other day I was trying to go to the ferry. We were going to go to the ferry on, I think it was Saturday and yesterday, and I got there, and in the morning I said, "Oh, I'm gonna go this time, and let's do this." And Chloe's this attitude of, "What about me? What about me? What about me?" Well, anyways, several people have posted she's not autistic. Okay, her exhibit file states she's bipolar. Well, anyways, when I was talking to some people, including psychiatrists, psychiatrist said, well, borderline personality is more for women. Men get it very rarely, but men's version is narcissistic. She's showing narcissistic sides. Well, her dad said she's got narcissistic personality. Well, anyways, Chloe got mad and says, I'm going home. I was like, okay. So I kept going. Chloe finally I got up the hill, and she's already coming down the hill, going up, and I go, thought you weren't coming. She goes, yeah, I'm sorry. And I said, because she was telling the psychiatrist, well, I need to be taken care of. I don't need a beard. I don't need this. And she's like, well, Rita doesn't owe you shit. Wow. In the end, it was just to the point where Chloe was getting angry. And the lady's like, do we need the sheriff involved? Do we need to call APS? Do we need to get you treatment? Do we need to have you hospitalized? And she's like, look, you're tearing Rita down. Every time Rita does something nice for you, Rita's a saint. She wears her heart on her arm. You come along, and it's demands. Oh, I'll get to it. Nothing gets done. So, she's like, well, she talked to Chloe, got up Chloe's records from the hospital. She's a professor at the university. So she's the one who signed her off the last 3 times going to a mental hospital. So she's like, 3 times, and Rita's looking to go again. No, what it is Rita's going to get away from you because she can't handle it. And she's suicidal because you're demanding. I mean, if you didn't demand, well, so I was telling the doctor, would it be best to have her mother get her a disability and send her home? Yeah. So we were looking at that. So Chloe called her mom, and Chloe's mom's like, wow, we can get you on disability. Now, here's the problem with disability, okay? I'm not saying Chloe's bad. We don't know what her diagnosis is. I'm not going to sit here and pull up narcissistic personality or antisocial personality or borderline personality or schizotypical personality. None. Autism is what it is. Now, let me explain what it is. If you have autism, you don't have borderline, okay? I tried to explain that to Chloe's mom. If you have bipolar, you don't have autism. If you have schizophrenia, you don't have autism. So basically what it is bipolar 2, borderline personality, narcissistic personality, antisocial personality, and schizophrenia, aka schizoaffective, which is bipolar and borderline, is all compiled as autism. So it's basically the worst of the worst in a person. Now, some people are autistic, like the Rain Man, who was not high functioning. He was an idiot savant. Then you have definitely want the cell phone. Definitely need a portable TV. Definitely need a portable TV. My Sony Watchman doesn't work. Definitely doesn't work. All right, Ray, we'll get you a new portable TV soon. Now, you got the autistic spectrum disorder of Asperger's, which are trying to cut away from it and say, well, it's a different disability. Now they're saying, from what I understand, trying to change the definition to Asperger's or fetal alcohol spectrum disorder is the serious side effects of schizophrenia, bipolar, borderline, bipolar 2, narcissistic, all these disabilities, the antisocial, all condensed, taking all of them, throwing in a blender and saying, this is what this is. So when I explained to Chloe's mom on the phone, I think she got it. Like, oh, problem is, so Scaredy said, I'm sorry, your diagnosis is 21 years old. The summary ain't going to work. The exhibit file states, we're sorry, your diagnosis is 21 years old. Not going to happen. You don't show signs of autism. You're showing signs of schizophrenia and bipolar. That's why you're rocking back and forth. That's signs of bipolar, schizophrenia, borderline. It's a tick mechanism. A tick mechanism? Definitely a tick mechanism? Come on. It's not a fucking tick mechanism. I mean, literally, they're trying to abuse Chloe by saying, oh, yeah, it's a tick mechanism. So anyway, because of it, they're saying Chloe knows what she's doing. She's manipulative. She's a manipulative person. So technically what the hospital is saying, okay, now let's get down to the hospital side of things real quick to make this video short. Hospital side says, oh, well, you're not autistic yet. Right there at the bottom of her diagnosis in the hospitals, first time through major depressive. intermittent explosive disorder was the third time. Then it said, general anxiety. Then it said no OCD, no PTSD. Then on the bottom it says autism, Asperger's. Then the second one, it said Asperger's, not autism spectrum disorder. Can't use it. They say it has to be autistic spectrum disorder. Third time, Asperger's, not autistic. Fourth time, Asperger's on the bottom with unknown, unknown, unknown. You see what I'm saying? Unless they give the diagnosis of autism spectrum disorder and they just put Asperger's, there's no money. I've already talked to specialists about this. They say it ain't going to happen. Now, what the hospital has done is they're like, look, we have records from places like GIS. Yeah, I'm going to just label it. GIS. Then you got CC. Then you have CVC, HBH. You got Kana. You got all these places saying, oh, she made the diagnosis of narcissism, aka borderline. She's not autistic. She's self-diagnosed autistic, self-diagnosed Asperger's. Yet they're going off of the psychiatrist who's giving her cash money going, I don't see any autism visible. He's a psychiatrist. He's not a specialist in this shit. But she does have some mental illness, and if we can get her talk therapy and coping skills, she could work in a year. Yet, third hospitalization says, Chloe's going to go to a homeless shelter. She's going to get work experience. She's going to work in a job, job application. Right. So how's the Social Security guy going to read the third hospitalization and go, not autistic, doesn't say autistic spectrum disorder, claims borderline, not taking meds, which here's the thing about medications. I did this video for you all. It's mental health education. How do you, as the psychiatrist said, she said, if you're autistic, you give someone schizophrenia, bipolar, borderline meds, narcissistic personality, social antisocial personality disorder, the rest of them, meds. They're not going to work on a person. Why? Because, frankly, they don't work. They don't work under any grounds. They don't work for a person. Chloe was on them 6 weeks at a time, 8 weeks at a time, 12 weeks. Didn't work. Made her worse. It's because, as the psychiatrist said, she's autistic. They don't want to believe it. They're going to say, oh, well, if you're autistic, then, well, you had college education. What they're saying is she didn't apply before 22. She ain't autistic. She got through from 18 to 22 in college to a bit, got out, was going to go to trucking school. That didn't help. Went and did other things. That didn't help. So, when it comes to Chloe sits there and mom doesn't realize, well, you got to be 22 or under to apply for disability if you have these disabilities from child. If she knew she was autistic, she could apply for child's benefits at 9 and kept her on it all the way up to now. Didn't happen. Plain, that's rule 1. 2, the diagnosis is they're saying isn't there because she has college. A true autistic person can barely function. Aspie can truly function. They say Aspie. 3, they're going to need to look at everything. Now, they're going to send her back to a psychologist. He's going to ask me some questions. Oh, does Chloe do anything at home? I can sit there and go, well, the toilet's plugged. She plugs toilets up. I mean, literally, that's a joke, okay? We don't know what happened to the toilet, okay? But jokingly aside, for all of you out there watching this, how do you explain to someone, the ramifications? Chloe mom doesn't realize they're basing it on education, work history, and schooling. Let's go break this down real quick, okay? I graduated at 8. I don't have a degree. Chloe's got a high school diploma. frankly, goes like this. Chloe's got college. They're basing it on that. She can go to college. She's got the added tuition to stock groceries, bag groceries. As my cousin-in-law say, cousin, even my aunt, bag groceries. She was stocking shelves at night. She can do it again, what Social Security said in her exhibit file. They say if you train her to be a janitor, she can go clean toilets. Train her properly, she can clean toilets for the next 50 years. They say she can do all these menial tasks, even with her advanced autism, because it's not there. So if it's not there, as the psychiatrist said, then it's going to be the biggest blunder in American history for her, Sorry. So there you have it. You got that? So technically, you got that, right? So the bottom line is, when it comes to someone who's autistic, severely autistic, Asperger, that can't work, that's one thing. But a lot of these places out there have said, she's faking it. I mean, look, one clinic said, oh, Social Security will get the whole file, not what we gave you outright. They're going to make sure Chloe doesn't get a benefit package and money. I'm on top of this anyways, but I asked why. And she's like, simple. She never completed her treatment. She's bipolar 2. Chloe's mom's watching this. I think Chloe's mom should realize that the ramifications of not getting her on disability by 22 is what was done before then. Okay. Secondly, Chloe is a sweetheart. All right. She's got a lot of problems. I don't even know why I put up with her. All right. But when it comes to Chloe, because she's got all that work experience up to 2015, 4 years ago, and then had a meltdown and been homeless and then ended up here. And they're looking at the big picture of, I'm sorry, we can't do anything for you. And so the bottom line is, Chloe is a sweetheart. Thing is trying to get her on disability is like trying to find a needle in a haystack. I mean, look, I've talked to people that said you can try to put her on this program. The state can try to help. State came out recently and said, look, we've looked into everything. The bottom line is Chloe has some problems. There's no way in hell we can get her on it. And literally, she's not following treatment plans. She doesn't want to have the companies out here like CMAR, Compass, Catholic Charities, Sound Behavioral. The deal with, they're like, oh, well, with your disabilities, we got to medicate you. If you don't take medication, we're going to put you back in a mental hospital. No, it's not going to work. Chloe ain't going to go back there. For real, the thing is I've talked to people in these places. They just want to medicate the fuck out of her and let it get worse. And then when they find out it ain't that, like the psychiatrist said, then they're going to have to change their entire battle plan. She said, your psychiatrist wanted to put her on meds, but when she realized Chloe's smarter than that, she changed her tune and said talk therapy. She's going to need it for years. And if she's autistic, she might never learn the coping mechanisms. That's what Chloe really needs right now is coping mechanisms. And look, her mom says, give her incentives to do her chores. I did. Doesn't work. Literally, it doesn't work. And then, Chloe's realizing, she's running me in the ground. But there's only two options, okay? Here's the option. Option one, she goes to a mental hospital. Ain't gonna work. They're gonna medicate her. Two, she finds a specialist. No one wants to work with her. When I say, oh, she's been diagnosed autistic. Okay, what age? 9. And I've done video conferencing with some of these people. They want a free consult because I live on an island. I go, Chloe's autistic. Okay, that we can deal with that. She also has got the diagnosis of bipolar, borderline schizophrenia. Not going there. We ain't going to deal with it. Then I say, well, I'm autistic and fetal alcohol spectrum disorder. Won't go there. The other thing, Chloe doesn't want her medical records being given out. She's tired of these people sitting there going, oh, Chloe, so you're borderline. You're not autistic. You're showing borderline or narcissistic temper tantrums. You don't get what you want, you run your partner in the mud. That's what they're telling her. So this psychiatrist said, look, I'm willing to diagnose you both, but I'm not doing it in one session. She says, I got Chloe's report right here because Chloe was with me. And she says, look, I can clearly state, ma'am, that the doctor that gave you borderline saw you one time because she didn't want to explain and put in self-diagnosed autistic. Didn't want to deal with it. The other place said, oh, she's borderline? We're going to give her bipolar 2 because that's what the other place said was bipolar 1. We got a record from one place that says bipolar 1. We got another hospital. This is bipolar 1 and 2. How do you get bipolar 1 and 2? Yeah. And then the main hospital in Ohio, or the clinic she went to, said she's autistic. But Social Security gets a hold of it and goes, nope, not autistic. She has no autism there. Not rocking back and forth. Oh, that's schizophrenia. The super sexual hyperarousal disorder, that's bipolar and borderline. Narcissistic. And then when people, like the hospital told me once, the hospital that the psychiatrist works at said, look, we've talked to you before, ma'am. Problem is if she's autistic, all those disabilities, schizophrenia, well, let's do it this way. Consider this the blender, and the little pinches are the problems. Schizophrenia, bipolar, borderline, antisocial personality disorder, narcissistic personality disorder, the other personality disorders, bipolar 1 and 2, it's all in there. Dump it out. There's Chloe. There's me. But the thing about Chloe is she's not borderline. We found this out. Misdiagnosis completely. Reason? Borderlines hit themselves. The only thing Chloe does as an autistic is whack her head like this when a video game isn't working right. Or hit her head like this. Me? When I get angry, sometimes I whack my head with my cane going, like when I don't want to hear Chloe and she's bitching. No, it's not borderline. Of course, there's that physical damage, but it isn't bipolar either. It's schizophrenia. It's autism and fetal alcohol spectrum disorder. Why am I saying this to you guys? Just to let you have a little personal education. Basically, borderline is people that actually try to commit suicide. They actually go and they buy a rope and they get ready to hang themselves. Yeah. Bipolar, same thing. Schizophrenics, they don't have the cognitive in their head to go kill themselves. It's very rare, and that's overlapping with bipolar, which is the bipolar part. Otherwise, if you go to a mental hospital or you go to hospital and go, yeah, I can't take it, I'm not on meds, and I want to kill myself. Do you have a plan? Well, Chloe, the last time she went there, she claimed she bought a rope. She never did. Then she did this. She didn't do that. I never found a letter in the trash can either. I read the report. They grilled me for like 2 hours at the hospital on the social worker. And then they wanted to say Chloe was illegally police detained until they found a bed for her. Now, let me give you a little bit of info, okay? She went voluntary. I was police escorted to the hospital, handcuffed, completely unconscious, with too much booze in me. When I woke up, the policeman said, "You were arrested." I said, "No, I wasn't. I'm going to, no, you're not going to be contacting the ACLU. You're not going to win." I contacted the ACLU and I contacted a fucking civil rights lawyer the next day and nailed those fuckers. If it is in my records, it would show up online. I have many places where I can check background checks on anyone at any time. I pay money per month. Nothing. I even requested my records. No charges pressed. When I got hold of my medical records, I'm telling you this for fun. Basically, it said, took up there for involuntary, IDA, Involuntary Treatment Act. Police said, "You're staying, you're getting involuntary." Nurse tried to hold me. I said, "Step aside, I'm going home." I was in a hospital gown. Chloe went and got my clothes. They said I wasn't welcome back at the hospital. But when I read the report, they called the police. Police said, "If we see her getting home, we will personally arrest her, detain her, and put her in there and have a police officer guard her until she's on an ambulance going to one of these hospitals." You know what? The hospital said, "No, we're sorry. We can't take her because it's conflict of interest because Chloe's been to every state hospital, every hospital in the state. She has, except for Eastern and Western, and they're too big. The smaller facilities are holding grounds for the bigger ones, and that can take 6 months of wait." Now, they also said her insurance won't pay. She's got Medicare. 3, she's got a service dog. Let her go. 3 weeks later, we got an email. This place was available. We took it. Packed up, loaded up, left. I tried again, just thinking, oh yeah. So I called up the intake lines. Not going to happen. "Sorry, your best bet is to go to the hospital you went to in Oregon. Can't go anywhere else because conflict of interest. You have a service dog. They take service dogs. And we're not taking service dogs. And you have Medicare." So, bottom line, the mental health system is broken. So I went to see an outpatient psychiatrist through telepsychiatry with Chloe. She gave us more information than we needed to know. First, she looked over Chloe's notes and said, "Chloe's not borderline." "Are you cutting yourself?" "No." "Are you burning yourself?" "No." "Are you whacking yourself?" She says, "As an autistic, when I get frustrated, I hit my head or hit this way. When Rita gets frustrated, she whacks her head on her cane." That's not borderline. That's not narcissistic. However, autistic people already have narcissistic in them on the grounds that they think they are owed the world because they are weird, and they think, that they're owed a living and etc. So the narcissism's already there. Autism can have hallucinations and delusions with or without drinking or drugs. Now, Chloe's been on drugs in the past, so that could have fried out her brain a bit. Booze for me is what I don't drink. I had some wine last night, but I tried to stay away from it. But this morning, I finished up the wine, and I was like, "Oh, I think I'll go get some wine." Well, Chloe says, "Hey, let's go get a cup." And this is something I want to tell so everyone knows. Chloe looked at me today and says, "Hey, we're going to go to the hardware store to check out those augers, those closet augers or closet snakes to unclog the toilet. Let's go to the coffee shop." Got a couple cups of coffee, talked to a nice lady, and then went over, and I said, "Oh, look, the wine tasting place." I said, "Nope, not gonna have wine." Went in, had some coffee, talked it out, left. She was like, "I don't want to go back to my mom's because my mom doesn't understand Social Security," which that's why this video is made. Social Security is going to be a bitch for Chloe, okay? First of all, there is too many diagnoses in her records. Unless you have every one of the diagnoses expunged, which you can't do, they won't do it. Chloe's tried. They're like, "Fuck you, we're not taking anything out of it." It even stated from the records from the other places that she abused me. They're like, "Fuck you, we're not taking that out of the records. We're keeping it in there. You're borderline." Psychiatrist today, when she finally met Chloe, because she signed off on it, didn't even see her. She just signed off on sending her to these mental hospitals, realized The hospitals that you went to misdiagnosed you. The clinics misdiagnosed you. You can't have a diagnosis in one go. You're borderline. You can't go in 6 or 8 sessions. Chloe went 7 months and they said bipolar. They didn't say bipolar 1 or 2. They just said bipolar. She says you don't have bipolar. They misdiagnosed you. If they had access to your autistic records and said autism spectrum disorder, just put Asperger's, it's not going to work, because you didn't get money by 22, and 2 is you worked from, 18 to 25 or 26. So that's really, that's what's going on is they're going, hey, she can work, she can clean toilets for a living, she can empty trash for a living, she can stock groceries again. She even said in her exhibit file she's, disabled because she's transgendered, born both, and they put it all in there in the exhibit file, and then you have a psychiatrist that's helping her try to get on disability, but also evaluated for cash assistance. It said she's not autistic. This is like a German guy. He gets lots of money. She's got some mental issues, explosive temperament, but she's not any of these. When I talked to the guy once, he says she's not borderline, she's not bipolar, she's not schizophrenia. Then I said, why did this doctor put it? He got a hold of those records because he was entitled to them, looked at them over and said, she's not supposed to do that. You can't diagnose one setting. And then, the other thing is because of the diagnosis, it went into the computer. There's one place who turned around and said, Chloe's bipolar 2. Now let's break down bipolar 2. It overlaps somewhat, but the problem is when Chloe made threats and the government agents came out and everything else, that's a borderline thing or narcissistic. The problem is I think the Secret Service and FBI realized that it was basically a autism thing, because basically they're smart enough they can determine, autism, but Social Security's sitting there, she's not autistic. I don't think they got into the exhibit file. They did, good for you boys. You figured it out better than I can. Me being learning disabled, I've been trying to put it all together till the psychiatrist looked at it and goes, It's basically a disease where you just throw everything, or a disability or disorder that you throw in a blender. She says, you could have hearing and visual. Look, borderline personality is the border of bipolar and schizophrenia. It's neurosis and psychosis. Borderline. Well, I came up with a shithole made up name and said you're borderline. Narcissistic is the same thing in males. But they didn't want Chloe going after him and saying, yes, you're narcissistic. So they put borderline, the female version, because she's female. Of course, people say she's male. Look, we found out that people that are autistic usually don't go through sex changes. They don't allow it because they can't control their emotions. Borderlines can't control their emotions. Borderlines is a person that basically between neurosis, psychosis, they can be happy one moment, sad the next moment, agitated and angry the next moment, and in a 23-hour period, they recycle rapidly like a bicycle. Bipolar is where you're depressed. You can be sitting there, and let's just say Chloe's borderline, but she isn't. And she says, Rita, you're a motherfucking piece of crap. You want to make me grow a beard. You're not going to buy razor blades and shave cream. You're an asshole. You're a cunt. You're a fucker. You're a man in a dress, right? Then that's the explosive part. That's the belittling part. That's the narcissistic part. All that. Me, I go, oh yeah, I'm a piece of crap. I need to cater to Chloe. I go right in the well. Then it could take me days to get out of it. And when I do get out of it, I'm like, let's have a good day. And some trigger like the electric bill, or you being yelled at by Chloe, or being yelled at, you motherfucker, you want me to blah, blah, So I go down again. So they're thinking bipolar, but being autistic with Asperger's, or I'm on the spectrum, and the fetal alcohol spectrum disorder, that's now just getting to me. And with the PTSD, they're putting in, well, you're being abused because she's narcissistic. That's what they're saying, narcissistic, and you're codependent of the abuse. Okay. But she said no. What it is If Chloe's autistic, which is more likely, she needs a routine. She doesn't want to focus on a routine. But also, autistics are just like borderline bipolar schizophrenics. They don't want help. Now, I went and sought out help. I was like, hey, I'm losing my fucking mind here. What do I do? And she said, you're autistic. Two autistics or an autistic and a fetal alcohol spectrum disorder person, they're not going to get along. They have their own ideas. So the bottom line is, when it comes to the whole mental health thing, this lady basically opened up my eyes and she said, well, if you read the DSM-5, ma'am, I can explain it better to you. And I go, she says, is that the DSM-5? I go, she goes, well, then I explained my thoughts. She says, you're right on the money, Rita. You completely are. Chloe's just sitting there going, so I'm not borderline. No, you're not borderline. You're not schizophrenic, and you're definitely not bipolar 1 or 2. You're not narcissistic. You're not, antisocial. You're not any of those. The explosive intermittent temper is part of being autistic. She says, what it is you're raised not properly. Your family didn't raise you. If your mom turned around, which is in the records, gave you everything, and then all of a sudden you get old enough and you go out to Arizona to be a trucker, meet your dad and everything else, become a trans woman or intersex woman, and then you realize, well, I'm going to work out here doing, what she was doing, menial tasks, making good money, answering phones and working with a blood drive and other places and working like labor ready and stuff, getting things or man ready or work ready and all of a sudden, Chloe's probably in the other room going, what the fuck is she talking about? And all of a sudden you have an intermittent explosive disorder where you're being belittled and all of a sudden you defend yourself and you get fired. Social Security should be looking at it like, hey, she tried to hold on, but she never tried to apply again at other places to keep her job. She just got shipped off with another Aspie to San Diego to be homeless for 3 months and then ended up in Ohio for 7 months where they decided, Chloe's autistic, but she's also borderline. Borderline is already, or not borderline, bipolar. So they threw it in a blender and said, now people at this place in Ohio, and Chloe's mom's watching this, basically, they misdiagnosed her mom. Plain and simple. I know you're sitting there going, yeah, well, duh, they've misdiagnosed her. What they wanted to do, okay, here's what they wanted to do. For the part that Chloe's mom's like, well, duh. In the state of Washington, in the state of Arizona, in the state of Ohio and other states, in the Medicaid program, even if you were diagnosed autistic, they can only pay for autistic services until the age of 20. Now, if you have a diagnosis of autism and it's current and it's valid, they might want to re-up the check with a specialist, which is hard to find place. That's why when you talk to someone who's an autistic specialist, when you tell them, yes, she was diagnosed these, because you don't lie, they're like, well, we don't want to do it. The hospital's right. The hospital's not right, okay? These people doesn't want to deal with it because they're thinking she's 30 years old. We're not fucking dealing with it. Or 31. All right? The hospital turns around and goes, oh, so we got information from Chloe's mom. We've got information from these clinics. We got the information from doctors. Chloe's abusing Rita. Rita's paying and paying and paying. Rita's paying. Chloe's hoarding your money, buying dresses, buying this, doing that. Rita's being abused. They put in the record. So then they sit there and say, well, like the first lady, after one session, you're borderline. Here you go. This will help with disability. But that point, Chloe was already unknown. So she went to that, and then the second mental hospital said, oh, she's borderline. There we go. Then when the records go to this big hospital where Jenna works, Jennifer, they look at it and say, oh, yes, you're this. Chloe's like, yes, I am. I need medications. But doesn't realize, as the psychiatrist said Friday, the meds don't work because of it. They needed to consult and say, hey, she's saying she's autistic, but she's got borderline. So we send her to the hospital, medicate her. Instead, she just signed off on it, not reading the records. And then she realized Friday, oh, if I need to read records more. So she made a note to herself. So she doesn't make the mistake of signing off 3 times for someone who's autistic, going to a mental hospital to be medicated when the meds aren't working. Instead, the meds are causing her to have mental and physical defects. Her entire lower extremities were fucking numb for 6 months. She goes to the doctor, oh, well, stay on the med. We'll give you this med and that med. And it didn't work. And they countered, and this didn't work. And she was getting more violent. Finally, they had to handcuff her, take her up there, try to involuntary her. That didn't work. So they sent her home. The police were unhappy. So she went the 3rd time. Oh, I'm got a rope, and I'm going to hang myself, and blah, blah, blah. Then when Chloe tells me in the hospital, make sure to call the CC, that's the group that was managing her at the time. She only had like 2 sessions. Lady puts down, Chloe was involuntary detained. Chloe was, and then when we got the records, she had a probation violation. Violated an LRA, a less restrictive alternative. You violate an LRA in the state. The first clinic that knows this will have the sheriff pick her up, detain her, and send her back to the mental hospital she was at. We contacted every parole and probation area in all of Washington. Zip. Even with everything I knew. Zip. They never removed it. Social Security gets a hold of that. They're going to be going, you violated an LRA. Where's the LRA paperwork? You see? I mean, literally, there's something not right. So Chloe's like, fuck it, So when she came home in April, she went to this one place, and they're like, well, you need to go back to Seattle. You need to go back to Seattle. Your Medicaid's locked to Seattle. I got it unlocked. Took me 3 weeks, but I got it. Then she went back to CC. Yelled at them, and they're like, why you violated an LRA? You violated an LRA. Put in a record. She's like, fuck you. Never went back. From June to fucking moving, she never went to any place. She kept getting her cash until freaking October. When the guy finally realized, oh, you moved, you're going to lose cash assistance. Transferred to a new social worker, said, oh, yeah, the release is good. The release is good. We need to put her to this place. I'll set it up. So I was like, fuck you. I'm not going through these fucking medicated Twinkie eating assholes. Why me up? Fuck you. That was it. Lady calls me. I'm like, listen, bitch. Didn't you hear Chloe? She said, fuck you. I'm telling you, fuck you. Finally, with my stress levels, I had to go in for free counseling for 2 weeks. Didn't do damn good. They were trying to sell me on a booze session thing. Oh, you're a drunk. We want your medical records. I was like, fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Finally left. The lady kept trying to sing a choir song. Chloe said, fuck you. Called up the lady for Social Security to find out, this. And she's like, we can't talk to you about it because we know about you. So I was like, fuck you, bitch. Chloe turned around, called her up and said, listen, bitch. Listen here, you fucking cunt. I'm not going through you. I'm not reopening my Social Security case. You already know what's in the file, so you can kiss my ass. If you're not going to authorize Rita to work with you, then I'm not working with you. Smell my ass. Fuck you. Click. Then finally, we heard someone through Chloe's mom, beautiful Chloe's mom, said, call this place. We called up the lady. The lady said, I want to talk to Chloe. Chloe. She's like, fuck you, Rita. I'm not talking to these fucking people. Finally, the whole thing is, lady said, well, she may be disabled, but she's showing more signs of narcissistic and borderline. She's not going to be going through us. Even if we have a diagnosis, we looked into the rules 21 years ago, diagnosed autism. Ain't going to work. You need a diagnosis earlier than that. And since there's no specialist in this area, check out Seattle, Bellevue. I found a specialist that does autism. Problem, it's 20 and under, so I've found a lot of them. But when they find out that Chloe's got these problems that are severely debilitating, they're like, well, she could be faking it, or she could be severe. Well, one lady said to me, here's the deal. If you can't take care of yourself, Chloe, this is what she said Friday. If you can't take care of yourself, you can't cook for yourself, you can't clean for yourself, you have to have Rita do everything for you. And Rita talks to Social Security, you get on money, they're going to probably put you a guardian for your money, and they're going to put you in a group home because, frankly, the problem is you can't take care of yourself. I mean, look, you can't even, Rita pays you. to do certain chores, you don't get them done. You just take the stuff and you leave. So what's the point? So technically, if Chloe's mom's watching this, you understand what's going on. Social Security's not just going to do it. They're saying if you're on meds, that's fine. But you should realize as a med tech or a pharmaceutical tech mom that you don't give someone meds unless they have the disorder. They were giving her meds and she was on them 2-3 months or more and they weren't working. It's because, as the psychiatrist said, the mindset knows that she's autistic. She's not borderline schizophrenic bipolar. There's things in the mind that knows what these disorders are. And if they have those disorders, the meds would work. She didn't take a medicine vacation. She took it off of it because it was making her worse. And, people, but at the same time, being autistic, they're also saying, in the records, because I was talking to the psychiatrist out in Wenatchee, who I talked to before I left. She asked me about the major concussion I had. And the concussion was, Chloe one night wanted to go next door and scare the neighbors with a knife. I had to disarm her and I got knocked out from a head injury. I was in a wheelchair 2 months. Police were like, "Oh, what's with the wheelchair? Oh, that's why. Well, why did you call us?" Because I'm not having you arrest Chloe. Chloe's got some mental issues. Well, what if she kills you? Let her. Then you can do something, but not now. So when we left, that was it. But you get the idea, right? So they're basically basing all of the autism stuff as borderline and shit like this, explosive intermittent temper. But like the psychiatrist said, if she knew that this, she would have basically made sure that Chloe wasn't medicated because it doesn't work. Secondly, therapy doesn't work. I mean, look, let me give you a breakdown of the mental hospital. The hospital I went to when I tried to plan to kill myself and do everything, my family saved me. I love my family with all my heart. They know this with all my heart. I was worried about Chloe. But I was losing it. And they got me in there. They had a plan, okay? The plan was medications will work fine. The doctor looked over everything. I said, I'm autistic with fetal alcohol spectrum disorder. He said, well, he called my psychiatrist. She says, yes, but meds won't work. She knew what she was doing. She's like, meds won't work. But in her mind, Chloe was borderline. Oh, if she has all the talk therapy, it's going to be 20, 30 years. Meds will work for her. Realizing when I talked to the psychiatrist on Friday, she said, I know that doctor personally. That doctor is right but wrong, And so when I heard from the doctor Friday afternoon, I already had a call from my psychiatrist because I was going to meet up with her I didn't realize she's autistic too. I thought you said you were, but not her. But I'm so sorry, Rita. She said meds won't work. I mean, the lady's been in business 30 years. She knows the DSMs 1 through 5 with the back of her hand. She knows what's modified, what they're going to put out in the DSM-6. Problem is that she's like, therapy won't work. The thing is, when someone's got borderline or someone's got autism or fetal alcohol spectrum disorder, they don't want change. They don't want to admit they have a disability. They're like, I'm autistic, fuck you all. They're not going to sit there and say, oh, I'm borderline. No, borderline people don't accept it. Same with narcissistic personality or antisocial. Bipolar people do accept it, and schizos, that they, after so many times of being in the hospital, they eventually accept that they're schizophrenic or schizoaffective, which is schizophrenia and bipolar. Bottom line is, they're basically stating that how do I say this without upsetting anyone? They're doing this for billing purposes. They went ahead and said, oh, if she's truly autistic, we'll put autism at the bottom of the list of mental illnesses, and we'll put borderline on the top, anti-anxiety, general anxiety, general this, general that, it's intermittent, all these to fit the criteria, and everyone gets some money. Plain and simple. They can't just sit there and do autism because they can't get paid for it. Now, my psychiatrist and I talk in Oregon, and I'm on top of it because he doesn't want me dead or anything. And he said, worst case scenario, come out here or send Chloe out here. Thing is, he realizes that Chloe's autistic. You can't medicate her. That's the thing. You can't medicate someone because the meds don't work. Now, with autism, the family didn't give her the right treatment. They treated her brother like a king and treated her like garbage, sweeping her under the floor. Apparently, for what I understand, she's been abused. I can't confirm or deny this. If Chloe's mom's watching this, I can't confirm or deny it. But anyways, one of the things the psychiatrist said is, between me being severely abused as a child, just like Aaron, as you all know, and then with Chloe being severely abused, Chloe only knows to turn the abuse around. So technically what she's saying is, when you don't get your, you fucking sit there and you say, I'm gonna leave. And Chloe's like, well, it's my trigger. She's like, no, you weren't taught that way. She says, look at your mother. Your mother probably sat there in front of her husband and goes, I'm going this way. If I don't get it, turn around and go the other way. It was given by her mom. So, because she didn't have her dad around. So Chloe's trying to act like her mother in many ways without knowing it. So technically you get the point. It's like mother, like daughter, like father, like son. No, jokingly aside, the whole thing with my cousin Corey, if he had a son, it'd be like Corey, oh, yeah, Dad, I farted. Yeah, smell that one, Dad. Or angry grandpa, Corey's grandpa, and there's his son there, like, yeah, Grandpa, you farted. Grandpa's stomach's not that well, grandson. The bacon's not doing too much. Next, he leaves a shark on the wall. I mean, like father, like son. I can make jokes about my cousin from time to time. I'm just throwing that out there, but you get the idea. Basically, So I've heard and seen from my own ears Chloe's mother's temper yesterday, and or Friday. It wasn't good. Friday or Saturday or whatever it wasn't good. It might have been Friday, I think it was, but you get the idea, right? So anyway.